So, are you guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Uh, Hey guys, good morning or good evening. Welcome to the DevOps class. Today I will be going for an introduction to what is a DevOps, basically. So, a DevOps, we can define a DevOps like it is a software development method which help to make swift communication, collaboration, integration, automation, and measurement of cooperation between software developers and other information professionals. So, when we come across these 2 points, which are defining a DevOps, so DevOps we can say was introduced as a methodology into the IT technology. We used to call these DevOps guys also like they were build engineers. Whenever the software developers used to give their software into the production, at that time we always required some help, some help to the some help from infra team. Every time there was a infrastructure team defined. So a software guy delivering all its softwares to a person who is having a knowledge of development as well as building it and then putting into the production. So he was called a build engineer. They were basically first introduced as a build engineer. Then when we had our DevOps methodology, then they came into the DevOps. DevOps is like a continuous integration. Like every time when you come across DevOps methodology, like we can learn every time. We have sprints every time, and in the integration of a software into the production, DevOps every time helps. Automation of an software, a particular automation. When we come across an automation, I can give you an example of an automation. When you go for installation of any softwares, any softwares into a system, let it be a Windows, let it be a Mac, or let it be a Linux. So every time we go through a pressure of installation, but when we come into the DevOps, it's like a total automation. A collaboration term. When we say a collaboration, it's a collaboration between a development and an operation. A development says like a guy should have the development knowledge and a guy who is doing the development should has the operation. A person who is binding the development as well as binding the operations too is one of the valuable key resource in the industry. A swift communication says the guy should be so much knowledgeable, he should have a good knowledge so that he can deliver the everything to the infrastructure. He can be a keen point, a strong pillar in the infrastructure, and he should be able to do everything that a developer as well as an operation guys can do. The measurement of cooperation between software developers and other information technology professionals. That's I described to you guys like between the software developers and the information technology professionals. Always we have an operation team who is sitting every time with the software developers. Like when the software developers develop a product, so operation teams comes under them and they always raise in hand to understand what is the product that is developed by a software professional. Why should we learn about why should we learn DevOps every time? DevOps like denotes a close collaboration and cross pollination between previous cases like purely the development roles, professionals and QA roles as it is necessary for like when you just see this when we go for these lines, these are purely defining the uh, role of a DevOps person. Like he should know about the development roles, and operation roles, and QA roles also. So when the product is given to DevOps guy, if anything happens in the infrastructure, he should be able to develop, he should be able to tweak the codes, and as well as he should test is it working between those ends and another ends also. And at every increasing rate, he can see like we used to have a different kind of models every time for an production to be in the production, or as well as we follow certain life cycle models in continuous models and some other waterfall models. So these models we used to follow. So right now in the DevOps model, we can see the waterfall model we never use. We never use because excuse me, because every time the particular we are having we are in the industry, we are always having um, our own we can say like every time we are having the requirement is every time increasing, and in the operations too is every time increasing. So we in the DevOps model, it is like we have a requirement, we freeze a requirement at a time, we go for a development, then we go for after developing the product, we go for a QA testing, then after QA testing, we go for a deliverance, and whatever is left behind, we again and again continue on a continuous delivery into that cycle, so that every task which was left behind also we continue to just make a uh, we hold together and deliver it as soon as possible, like breaking it into the sprints and delivering it into a certain product at every releases, at every cycle. This helps us into a faster development, and we can learn an extreme programming too. In DevOps technology, we also have an another programming like another cycle like extreme programming. We use an agile methodology into between. As I said earlier also, um, it's a better software delivery practices from end to end, from requirement to production, from perspective of a software delivery practices. In better IT industries, in in every big MNCs, we are following software delivery practices. Like we are having, like we have to, if we are given a certain case, if I say we have a certain case of deliver it into a 40 days, or if we have certain period of like three weeks, so we think about delivering it into that particular 3 weeks. We are dedicated the first half of the week, the first week, the half of the week would be like we are requirement gathering. The second half of the week we will be freezing the requirement, and in the second week we will be starting for the uh, in the last day of the first week we would be like getting ready or getting warmed up for the development process. Second week we are going for the development. Third week we will be freezing our development, and we are delivering at the end of the third week. On the last day we will be releasing a product. The DevOps methodology follow a sprint. What we call is given a time. A sprint is a running, is like what we call in the sports, we call it a sprint. When we say a sprint, it's a fast running. So we call in IT, we have a sprint as a weekly releases. So whatever we do in that sprint, whatever things we perform in the sprint, everything what we perform in the sprint, it comes under our total what we give into it. So whatever we give into that sprint, whatever we deliver into that software development process, whatever we do into whatever we follow comes with the software delivery practice. We should hold to DevOps methodology to always proceed for better delivery practices, not as a going for a workaround, not we should trail across something else. We should follow a particular methodology so as we should go on to deliver something better for the company, something better for an IT firm, something better for bigger MNCs. That's why we call the DevOps as a very quality and very quality perspective thing. And when it comes from end-to-end requirement to production, I can say from requirement to production, if I say, then from requirement perspective, when we are gathering everything to the production, from the requirement we are having the phase of first we do a requirement analysis as when I go back uh, into the terms of requirement gathering. So we used to follow in the college days also we used to follow something like waterfall model, iterative model. So these kind of models we used to follow at that time. So we used to learn about those things in the old days, like it would be requirement analysis, then we will be going for a building, and then we'll be going for production something. But when we come into the IT industry, when we come into the DevOps methodologies, when we come into the phase, when we are in front of the monitoring screen, when we are going for a battlefield for a software development, we are just sitting and then we are following some of the key methodologies, then we are looking forward for everything. Like from the requirement phase, we will be going for a requirement analysis, and then we will be there will be a great team held in the DevOps team. We can give you an example of a big MNCs. Like we are always having a DevOps team. We will be going for a requirement analysis. We will be going for a requirement freeze. We will be getting ready with where all IDEs. Then we will be getting ready to for the software development. After the software is developed, we will be following for software that is developed to pass to the QA team. The QA team then will analyze if our product is having a greatest if our product is okay, they will raise a green flag. Of if they're having a bug, then they will be raising a red flag. A red flag means the product has to come back. Then it is again to be modified, then again to be passed to the QA product. Till the QA product, till the QA team says raises a green flag, we can't ever say like our product is fully fledged, very quality product. So when the QA team raises a green flag, we define it as a doneness criteria. When it comes under doneness criteria, it is then passed to the product owner or product manager. Then it releases, then it comes to a market. You can have a various products in the IT industries. They also follow the same methodologies, the DevOps methodologies. Many companies in IT industries are right now following the DevOps methodologies because it is right now like a booming thing, and we DevOps guys are also following DevOps methodologies, and we try to deliver it every releases we can say, or every sprints we can say. So it is as you can see, best practice in connected tooling also. Best practices in connected tooling says like when we come across a DevOps tool, we are having certain tools, DevOps tools into the IT industry. When we say about connected tools, we are like a DevOps engineer is very fully fledged person who is having a knowledge of like connecting various tools, automating them, and then creating a flow, creating an architecture that is that should be very well defined. He should have a knowledge like how he's going to define it, how he's going to put an architecture into a working model. Excuse me. So he should have an knowledge about the particular architecture, because when it comes to defining an architecture, he should be first gathering the requirement. He should be first gathering the knowledge about a particular product, because when it comes to a product, the product should be so much flexible. It should be intangible. It should be very much flexible, and it should be like totally integrated. It should be every time supportive, because when we come across some of the examples I can give you, like if a DevOps person wants to put some of his information, some of his files into a storage, he will sometime go to an S3 bucket, that is AWS one of the AWS web services. So he should be having a knowledge to connect all the tools. We are having a lot of tools, so he should have a proper knowledge of connecting everything. And about being and fast and lean, the fast and lean defines about like fast and lean defines like whatever a person, a DevOps guy, is defining about the prospect, is defining about a plan, should be very fast. It should not be like when he's doing any kind of task, it shouldn't be stuck into anything. It should go on and deliver it into like very quick, uh, half an hour, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or even 5 minutes, or even into 4 minutes. He can he can uh, he can do he should be able to produce anything that should be so much faster than anything. Yeah, we know uh, because it is a continuous cycle where he delivers, where any person, where any DevOps guy delivers, or any DevOps thing, any person can deliver it into a minute or into seconds also. It should be very fast, and it should be very lean. Lean in says we like lean term we describes over here that it should not contain more and more uh, products. It should have a proper product. It should have a proper tools in the track to deliver it. When we come like into the job perspective, uh, what kind of it comes to the mind, like if I'm a DevOps guy, am I going to get a job? Am I really it also came into lot also came into the mind of a lot of persons. You can't deny the fact that am I if I'm a DevOps guy, so am I really going to get a job? Am I the person? Uh, do really people want? Do really people will accept me? Are people really going to like they really want? When you see across the whole world, there are a lot of positions that are available, a lot of positions that are respected, a lot of positions of a DevOps guy that are given to them. We call them as DevOps engineer, DevOps consultant, integration engineer, cloud engineer, consultant, DevOps consultant. You can say this all post, we can say, of the job perspective defines like a person who is the DevOps consultant knows about the DevOps engineering process, as well as holds the knowledge of operations, and as well as he's he also holds the key knowledge how to manage things. A DevOps engineer who is keenly dedicated to technical as well as into the operations, and he's a purely technical guy. We call them as every as I can say, state, job, every job opportunities which come into the field, a DevOps engineer is given the position of cloud engineer or maybe integration engineer, DevOps engineer, but they do the same work. There is no there is no there is no excuse me there is no difference between any of uh, any of the position. It's all the same, just the title is changing. But I can guarantee, not I can guarantee, I can say that it is very guaranteed that a DevOps engineer in the market, they are very this DevOps terminology which we say in the market is too much boomed, that right now people can get a job opportunity also. So about the job prospects, some of the things I can't say, but yeah, you can get. These are the titles. These are the titles which define a DevOps engineer. So, okay, so we have companies over here: IBM, Mastercard, TCS, Amdocs. Like, yeah, they require a highly DevOps skilled. DevOps guy should be very skilled. DevOps guy should know about the technology. DevOps guy should be ready with the things. Should know about particular builds. Should know about how the flow is. Should know about how the things to be dealt. Should be always ready, because he is one of the keen resource who is doing the development and who is helping the operation team also. So he is one of the very valuable resources. If you can say in the development part, a person, a DevOps person can be, if I define a DevOps person, he's so much valuable. Like if a Java person or if a developer, any developer, if he goes for a vacation, suppose for a term like he's not available, but in the production, they need any person who is having a knowledge. But right now, uh, but but right but right now the person is not but right now that person who has coded, who has made the product, is not available. But they want someone to work on it, as the load will increase on the team if one person goes for any reason. So at that time, a DevOps guy is really needed at that moment, because a DevOps guy has every skills. Like he can flow like a water. He can define himself in any technology at that moment, because learning the basics of every technology is one of the good thing, uh, which comes, and as well as learning those things, and then coming into the field, and then helping those guys. A DevOps person can do a Java coding. A DevOps person can do a PHP coding. A DevOps person can learn a new technology overnight and do any type of coding, and the other day, I can say, like that. He should be so much flexible to do anything, because a DevOps person, and this is the sole responsibility of a DevOps person, to deliver, to flow into any technology at any time. He should know about his field. He should have responsibility of development. He should have responsibility to help the operations. He should have responsibility to build architectures. He should have responsibility to be into managerial, and he should flow into any technologies. So because of these keen responsibility, so because of this particular I can say this so much responsibilities in him. A, a company seeks for this kind of person always to be in his team. A DevOps person is highly respected in an MNC, because he can be molded into any kind of developer at that time. You can make him an PHP developer at that time if required by a company. If he can be molded into any, he can be molded into scripts also. Anything you can mold him into. It's not like basically they're going to do, but if needed, we say into our own teams, we say if he knows these things, then if you can, or you going to try like these things. So these are the facts that come across. So a person with a lot of responsibility is highly respected, and a DevOps person generally does a work in which he is very much mastered, and the company requires them to be a part of their own infrastructure team of their own organization, and they really respect these guys. So here are the companies which take in the DevOps guys mostly. So these are the places. And about the tools, what the DevOps personally uses, which kind of tools I would like to describe. It's like a Puppet. That is Puppet is an automation tool. Continuous deployment we can do with Jenkins CI. That is a continuous integration. And then we have on the left hand side we have a Jenkins with Docker. Docker is right now is a booming microservices. Docker has its own containers, and we are having cloud bees right now. You can see a person who is holding a Docker is like a cloud bees. So that is called a web development at the cloud. So right now Docker is available with the cloud bees also. On the left hand side at the top we can see a penguin, we can see SQL server, everything. So this is called a chef. Chef is automating the manage. So over here, as you can see, this is chef. So chef can manage any resources, any nodes at that time. It does the same things that the Puppet does, and just the difference is like chef has some analytics and the Puppet is right now more in demand. So we have a Mesosphere, we have a Apache Mesos right now into the company. It's not totally boom, but it's one of the greatest thing. We have Apache Mesos, then we have Marathon running over it. It creates a lot of things that I think right now, if I tell you guys, won't be beneficial. I would like it to continue in other sessions. Greylog, it's a good tool we use. So, any questions?
Rohan, right? Rohan, I went through this class actually. I just went through this. I have a couple of questions. Okay. What basically the DevOps outline I got it from your demo actually, but I just wanted to know that is it a person for DevOps do require a development and scripting knowledge?
I can say not every time. Because DevOps engineer, I can basically define like he should be having a flow, like a flow in everything. It doesn't require, if I say a person with a DevOps knowledge is having like a Docker or something else. So those are the some of the automation tool that he's having. So it doesn't require programming for you to learn a programming language. You can learn one or two tools, then you are also a DevOps engineer.
Okay. No, because our curriculum in kernel training would give us an outline about bash scripting and shell scripting, right? So, what I want to ask is because I'm part of test environment manager. Okay? So I just wanted to know about DevOps on a whole, that it is complete mixture of source code. It has about the various technology which involves make it as a DevOps. Okay, but in case if we have for example, you have Puppet actually for the configuration, you have SVN or GitHub actually for the source code management, where you do tag it and provide a tag which you have to deploy using a Jenkins. So what I have knowledge, I am just telling you. So these are actually totally a mixture of tools. It is actually that each one will give you the analysis of how quick we are doing and how much percentage of the code is worth enough actually to be get inside the production. That is what you mean to say, right? So if it is having any, the code is lagging of something or something which people can do the development immediately and again drop it over and do a testing so that it goes as a continuous flow.
There is some background noises over there, so I can't hear anything clearly. I'm sorry.
Or is it actually from your side probably?
Your side.
You can mute it from your side. I will finish off my query so that you can answer it back actually then, Rohan.
Okay, no, actually from your side it's coming.
No, there's no sound here at all in my house.
Okay. So I would like to answer your query first. When we come across a bash scripting or when we come across a scripting language, so what happens in the Puppet also or in the Chef, we have to write some recipes or we have to write some Puppet scripts also at that time. So so we have to integrate, we have to manage some nodes. So at that time it is not like very much not into that particular you can say we are not getting into the scriptings, but we should know about a bash scripting. When you come across the bash scripting, so bash scripting is nothing what we do into the Linux. We should know about the Linux because as a developer, as a DevOps guy, you should every time have a knowledge of Linux. So whatever commands, whatever you're firing, you're putting the same thing into the bash script. So you should know about something about the bash scripts because it is a very basic thing. Okay, so when you're coming, I'm saying like when we step into a DevOps world, we come across microservices, we come across automation, we come across like a continuous integration, we come across GitHub. Okay, we come across a lot of things. Today at a certain time, I can say a continuous integration can deliver you everything with a plugin, customized plugin. I can, if I say like in a continuous integration, if those guys are building a certain plugin for me, but right now it is not working, so how can I automate that? How can I customize it through my command line? What scripts I can write at the certain times, like there is an option for an bash script also when you go over there. Okay, so if I'm able to write any scripts over there, so at that time if we write any script on that and we build, so we can do it through our scripts also, or we can use their plugin also. Anything can be possible. So customizing through your bash script, everything, it is possible, but using their plugin sometime maybe help you out, or sometime may not be, because a recent case, like I can say, I'm one of the I'm into the Jenkins team also. So so there was an issue with that Docker. Actually, I raised an hand on the Docker person. So there was, like you can see in the web at the cloud, there is an issue with the Docker plugin. Right now, they can't allow you to deploy a Docker into certain slaves. There is a function. There is a little bit master slave funda. If you know, then you can understand. So I'm saying the Docker plugin is not so much fully flexible, but if I'm able to to stand over there and make ready-made to present a code in front of present a code and build it. So if it is functioning, then it is beneficial for me not to be a dependent on that plugin, to be independent and developing my own code, not to be dependent on any third party and getting a help from them, and rather getting an answer that it's not fully functional. So for the
Okay.
scripting part, I'm saying we should know about the basics. We should
Yeah.
be like not be rigid to any kind of certain tools and uh, be spending our most of the times with those. We should be like very flexible to anything.
Yeah, I got it. Actually, the thing is that because what I felt was actually with my experience, I thought whether I will be able to learn scripting now, and not extensive, but something which I can manipulate. That level of scripting that should be part of the curriculum as well, right? From kernel, where we can do some modification of the existing code or something and make the changes and make the plugins configured and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah, that's an answer. That's an answer because I came across a lot of I just came across a lot of challenges, and one of the thing was like not to be dependent upon whatever we are getting into the customized manage, should be
Okay.
independent and should get the knowledge from the scripting also, should get the knowledge, should have the knowledge even if you are having an expertise in the Java, if you're having expertise in the Ruby. If you don't have, if you are newbie, then you should be able to learn those things, and then you should go for an automation. uh,
Mm,
was my
mm.
answer is it
Yeah.
fulfilled
Yeah,
your query?
you mean to say that, okay. So it is, your answer says that I should have an expertise knowledge on any of scripting. Is it might be, that's what you mean to say?
Any scripting. I don't say that when the bash scripting is one of the common thing that we should know if we, because we have to do in the Linux. We are bash scripting is one of the things that we do in the Linux. Oh, we have the Ruby, we have Python, we have Perl. So like we have things. If it is depending upon you which you choose, because it's about the person interest, keen interest.
Yeah, because that is what I just wanted to know about, that in case if I'm not able to get on with scripting, then will it not be useful to go with DevOps?
No,
So
see,
yeah,
it's not an
yeah,
ending point for you.
yeah, we
Yeah,
can take it offline actually, Rohan. I will speak with Chandra on that. So apart from that, actually, Rohan, that in case if there are various tools which we are part of DevOps, right? Because each day it is emerging different tools. So as
yeah,
per our curriculum, the thing is that what I could see from your syllabus, I could see that a couple of things which we are getting covered actually. So each one section would be covered, like source management, source code management, or some build tools. Like you will be teaching us about Maven scripting or this one, because you run it on Maven or something from the Jenkins, right? Is it going to be Maven, or is it going to be mm, something which we use in the Jenkins actually to build and deploy this, right? So I just wanted to know that what could be the tools which we would be using as a source codes for the build tools or for scripting. Then we also use, will you be covering about the artifacts on the repository tools also, anything like Nexus on Sonar type Nexus? Hello? Yeah, Rohan, awesome.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Tell me, please.
Hey, Rohan, no, no, I was one, the question asking was actually, what are the curriculum, what are the topics which are going to cover, and on each topic, for example, that is what Chandra was showing me out. But as specific to that source code management or the build tools or the scripting part or the repository tools, it's something which we have detailed on what are the tools which we are going to get learned as part of this DevOps. This is one question. And the last thing is, what is the difference between a build and a release engineer and a DevOps engineer? Is it something that build and release engineer only deploys the code, triggers the Jenkins build and do the analysis and provide it to the developers to make these changes or something, or DevOps is one level above than build and release?
Okay. First question will be on Chandra. Let Chandra will be carrying on. The basic funda of the DevOps second question I can be answering you. And like a build and release engineer. So long ago, these guys, as I said to you, like long ago, they were used to say out like these guys are build and release engineer. But build and
Mm-hmm.
release engineer also used to know about certain kind of development at that time. But
Mm-hmm.
the development was like they were so much flexible, so much means they knew about many technologies. At the time, sometimes we call the person who knows a lot that he won't be able to get a job. So, but he used to be a build and release engineer. So these guys were so much flexible that they can do the development job, and as well as right now they were introduced into one of the phase where they were able to produce the answers to that operation team also.
Mm. Okay.
So like that, there was one of the terminology that was defined by I'm not remembering the name right now. That it came across like DevOps, development and operations.
Operations, yeah.
Yeah. So we have certain operations into like operation teams, or you can call it business process guys, or KPO guys, or you can say tech support.
Yeah, anything, yeah.
Yeah. So
That,
these
that,
guys, what they used to do, they used to come across like us, and they always used to ask like how to do, what kind of thing you have built, and like this and that. So we were able to deliver a product. We were able to provide the support to the team. We used to be like continuously intact with the QA team. So a person who is doing three things is highly you can say the high resource, a very keen resource that they won't give. And if you develop some of the niche skills that are basically very rare in the market, then it's up to you. You will be very highly valuable.
okay.
About this build and release engineer. So these guys were converted into the DevOps engineer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but as what I suggested is that because Chandra showed me that at a high level, actually, I'm not asking you on the specific, actually. So each and every topic, what we have been split it across, we will be dealing with puppets, right? Puppets and Chef, Jenkins, Nagoys, Dockers, Git, or SVN, something like that. So if for the source control and all other stuff, right?
Puppet, I can. Chandra, could you scroll up? Scroll up,
If you
scroll up.
can, yeah, from the first module, if you can just go through what are the concepts we might be going through, then I should be done with it.
Yeah. So introduction to the DevOps, that was today's session that was set. Okay. Uh, Let me just make it a full screen. Full screen. Common infrastructure. The end of the DNS. Okay, so that it will be the infrastructure servers that you need to know about the networking, because when you're going to be a DevOps person, then you should be actually having the knowledge of the DNS. Uh, okay, and about that SVN and Jenkins, RPM package installation,
Mhm.
configuration of the Puppet. Okay, that topics are also nice and good. So you are having a basic knowledge of that SVN source version, that one, and Gits you are having Jenkins one, performance tuning as well, basic security. Oh, okay, basic Python scripting. So if you are having a basic knowledge, see, in-depth knowledge is something else
Okay.
that you
Yeah.
develop according to that you develop when you're continuously day spending day and night and learning new technology. See, a basic stand-up can be given to you, like you can stand up for the basic one. Then in-depth technology you develop by your own.
Correct. Yeah, understand.
Yeah,
Now the thing, see, the only thing what I would suggest is, see, on a day-to-day, we would be dealing with these tools basically. But one,
yeah,
what my suggestions would be, right? See, as my understanding, I was just wanted to tell you that. See,
yeah.
today I might be using Jenkins actually to deploy my code. Okay, so deployment of the
Mm,
code would be involved having Maven as your scripting tool, which you have to develop, or is it the developers would give it actually. And what we do is actually from the GitHub is a source code where we have all our codes and you create a tag. With the tags, you deploy it in the Jenkins. Jenkins uses any Maven actually to deploy. First, it will be building it, then it will be deploying it so that your code is deployed across your WebLogic or the whatever application server you have, it is deployed basically, right?
yeah,
So
it
what
is
I
a
mean to
lab.
say is,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the flow. What I know about because I am part of the test environment. I do all certain things actually because I just want to know about in depth on these things, right? So, for example, in
Okay.
the source code, like for
Mm-hmm.
you can use Git or SVN. Everything is going to be the change of the process which you how the folder structure is stored or something like that. So Git and
Mm-hmm.
SVN is going to be your source code from where your Jenkins will pull from it. And the Nexus is where you go and store all your class files, jar files, and all other stuff which is getting stored. So Nexus is where you have your kind of a class location where you go and put
Yes.
your stuff so that it picks up from there whatever is required as part of that build. So these are going to be a cluster of items actually because I don't know anything broad on that. So that is what I just wanted to know specific that, okay, these are the things which we are going to know as part of this curriculum. And apart from that, so these are the things probably 70% would be done from the developers actually. We have to see whether these files are available, whether if I trigger it, if the job fails due to some reason, it might be the connectivity with the Git, or is it that it is not able to find the jar file which is required for it to build it. So those kind of issues we normally see when we execute, right? So I just wanted to know that what are the things which you would be covering so that I become a complete DevOps because this I have an overview. Okay, I go and speak with the development team and ask him what is the problem. I find the error. I cut paste the issue to him. Okay, he fixes the
Mm.
issue basically. Okay, in the Nexus the code is not been uploaded. Now once I complete my DevOps, I should be able to okay from here I have to upload it into the Nexus so that this job goes fine. So that kind of development I will become right once I become a DevOps engineer or a DevOps professional.
Yeah, surely. I will just right away show you the workflow, how it goes. Nexus, we are like Archive, you can say Apache Archiva. It is Nexus is the another storing tool. We are storing a storage person. I have worked on Nexus also. So basically, when you're fetching for the GitHub, so what is the workflow? It's going to be over here. You will be fetching the code from the GitHub. You will
Mm-hmm.
be putting or pushing some using the Maven plugin, or rather you can build a shell script or you can put over it. You can write
Yeah.
a code for particular building it. Then you can
Okay.
do one thing. You can push it to your repository. Let it be a Archiva,
Mm.
Apache Archive, or let it be a your Nexus, or let it be a GitLab also, or anything.
Okay.
Not a
Okay. Yeah.
GitLab. Suppose any repository that you are having, or
Mm.
your particular server you are having.
Okay. Okay.
So from there, if you want to run a jar into suppose different instances, you will be putting if you are using an AWS instances. So at that
Mm.
time, you will be pulling the from that from your Nexus, you will be pulling it. Then
Mm.
you will be putting into any of the instances. So there is a
Mm.
flow between that. So
Correct. 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 Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
if
yeah.
you pull it from Nexus and if you pull it from AWS, you will be
Mm.
having some API between that.
Correct.
Okay, for you have to look into particular languages that AWS is going to support. Like it would be, I have seen it like a Java, it has Python, it has a Ruby, and any of the SDK, and you have to
Yeah.
work on it. And you have to fetch it from the Nexus also. So it depends upon you how you will be you if in the front end if it is going to be a Python script any scripting. So you
Mm.
have to based on that you have to perform your workflows. You have to put your architecture and you have to work
Yeah.
on the architecture. And then if you are having your like elasticity class computing one EC2 instance you are having, then putting, then in front it has to come. Okay, in front end it has to come. So it has to be like a flow. It has to be a total flow in that.
Correct.
You should create in that flow. So you have to look into which fits for you better.
Yeah, no, that's what. See, company to company, it might be differing, right, Joseph? So that is what was my question is. So today you might be teaching us Git and SVN. Okay, so companies might use SVN as their source code. I might have to
Hmm.
use the plugin of Maven, or as you said, it might be Shell, or it might be on
Yeah.
AWS, or it might be on a Nexus. So
Yeah.
we should have the variety with us actually. Okay, tomorrow I go towards this company. Actually, okay, they use AWS. Okay, I'll be able to adjust myself. Okay, AWS pull it like this way, rather
Hmm.
than not doing as how the Nexus does, right? So these tools are going to make us flexible to adapt ourselves into different locations, different companies who have different tools which they use for their day-to-day activity, for BAU basically, business as
Yep.
usual, right?
Uh,
So that
Basically,
is
it
what,
is
yeah,
like, yeah.
right.
Basically,
Yeah,
it is
because
like
one
that.
person might be using Chef actually for their configuration management. I might be using Puppet actually, but there might be little bit slight differences which I can adapt myself of knowing about from the DevOps, so that okay, I might be flexible in Chef as well as in Puppet, or I might be available for Git as well as SVN, like that. So market changes. It We can't stand up to the market, but if one is there, it will be adding up something onto the new version, or it should be something which is totally different. But
Yeah, I can say to you like that. Chef and Puppet came into the market at that time, right? If you see into the market right now, the Puppet is at the top level, and then you have the Chef in the second part. Then come across a lot of things. So in
yeah.
the automation tool, I have worked in one of that tool like Apache Brooklyn, which came into the
Yeah.
market, and still, but people more prefer Puppet and Chef because they have a domain specific language, and
Mhm.
we write the code into that, and then we handle the nodes here and there into the various containers of the, let it be Amazon or the Rackspace or the HP or anywhere. We handle it through the codes. So it is like that. So basically, having a particular knowledge, and it's about adaptation. How quick you
Yeah.
are the person to adapt the things. Uh,
Correct.
as if I'm having a Docker, if I'm having a knowledge of the Docker, if
Mhm.
tomorrow a next microservices come, so I should be able to adapt that thing without a complaint, because I have to jump into that. Anyhow, I have to learn new technology because I have to stick around that, because
Yeah.
I have to stick in the market. That is the one other thing.
Yeah, correct, actually. But that is the thing, actually. Yeah, you might be covering something with your course, but as per your working knowledge, actually, Joseph, you can also let us know. See, as per the curriculum, it might be only we might be covering only AWS, but you can tell us, okay, Nexus, it might be like this, how we interact with, if, in case if you have been working with Nexus or something, so that we also have the knowledge actually to have adaptation, not a complete explanation on the products actually, but you can compare or you can give us an idea about how it works with other plugins as well, right?
Yeah, there is a, like I was working on one of the architectures. So
Mhm.
right now, as I said to you, like totally depending upon a plugin is one of the losing factor for us, because if you're totally depending upon a plugin, then it will be like in the Docker thing. I already said in that presentation, like I or before I said like it was a plugin that was developed by the Jenkins community, and right now, if you can say, it is not working because of insecurity that they are feeling, that their hosts are shared. Okay, if you register
Mhm.
yourself, then it is their hosts are shared, so they feel insecure, and they have put it the plugin down, and I had tried a lot of builds into that. So I was actually working on a architecture. I produced one architecture, so I was working on it. So at the time, I can
Oh,
say ki it is up to you how you customize it.
yeah, correct, correct. Wait, but once we know how what are the things
Hmm.
on that particular tool, then it is up to us to how you or how we get to know more about it and what are the other advantages. That is adaptation from our side, but
Hmm.
now it is Greek and Latin for us actually. We know about the flow because I know about the flow. That's it. Okay. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about I don't know anything about Nexus because when I speak with the developers, actually the developers tell actually I have not moved the code into Nexus. That might be the reason the build has failed. I used to come and tell, oh, okay, is it due to that? Okay, can you upload it so that I can re-trigger the build? He'll tell, yeah, I will do it. I will give you another tag. Okay, so but basically what he tells is, yeah, I have pulled it from the GitHub now, but it is not available actually in my drop down actually for the Jenkins to trigger the build. Then he will say, oh, I didn't push it in the repo basically, so that is not, it is visible. I'll push it now. You can see it. So these are the things visually I have not seen, but only thing is that I could see the tags coming across from the Jenkins. I trigger it actually from my side, then it goes. Okay, so the build completes and everything goes smooth and it has been deployed across into the WebLogic onto the application server. So this is how I know. So that is what I was interested to know, that how it interacts. What are the other tools which we have? So that was my interest towards learning DevOps. So I came across.
Basically, it's totally depending upon before my architecture. Before I was also putting my architecture into the picture, so it was totally like learning of the new things. Every time you get a chance to learn new things, every time you get a chance to adapt yourself, every time you get a chance to know about new technologies, you come into the challenges you face day to day. Day to day you fail, because so sitting on a chair won't help you. You have to know about everything. You have to just work on it. You have to just think about how it is to be done, because a person of having a great knowledge of doing or knowing the flow, or overnight learning and then applying into on the other day, then it is one of the different things that you are going to do.
Correct. Got it. Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. That is what. Yes. Yeah. Other people might be having some queries, so I have been talking for a long while. I'll just
no. No issues. Any more people having doubts?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.